The hidden dangers of fun. 3 questions for every amusement park ride operator. Amusement park rides have steadily declined, and I know there are problems. I'm an investigator with over 150 different accidents over about 35 U.S. states. In the industry, I'm asking my friends to ask the questions that when they go to the amusement park. Are you rescue trained? That's a good question, especially if you're not rescue trained for that ride. Who performs ride pre-use checks? Because these checks are sometimes just marks of a pencil. And what standards you follow? There's a lot of them. So even if they come up with one, that's better than none. Lisa's story. This North Carolina family, her mother, husband, brother, and their children, decided to start their adventure at a ski resort in Utah. The ski resort was very reputable, big name, big players. But Lisa didn't realize that the level of safety during summertime activities, at least according to wind and shutdowns, was diminished compared to ski condition reports. No one was checking, although the industry says 30 miles per hour or greater of sustained winds, zip lines should not be operating. And Lisa's staff had been trained that way. In fact, they were trained that 30 miles per hour shuts down the ride and they evacuate. Well, on this day, May 20th, 2016, they didn't do that. And the pre-use check inspection that should have caught this tree in the background of Lisa's story with the orange ribbon, meaning that tree is in a hazardous location. This tree just happened to be next to the zip line. As Lisa and her family traversed the zip line, her brother was behind her with his family, and at times the winds were over 65 miles per hour. The hail was pelting them. They were huddled in dugouts. And if you know anything about Utah mountains in the spring, or any time really, wind and rain and weather can change dramatically. But Lisa's staff wasn't paying attention to the wind speed. So Lisa and her husband loads up to go down the very last pass of this 5 zipline tour. Her brother's behind her, but they're in dugouts. They're not going anywhere. In fact, as Lisa and her husband were sent down this outlaw pass, her brother was at that time telling the guide, absolutely not, I am walking off of this mountain. On the way down, Lisa's husband passed her about midway. He never saw her alive again, or at least the one he knew. Because that tree that I explained with orange ribbon was rubbing on the cable. The winds were sustained at 35 miles per hour and gusts were well over 65. I know, I pulled the report of that day. Lisa hit that tree, a tall blue spruce pine tree, and sheared off 4 inches at the top. Lisa only weighed about 100 pounds. Healthy 55-year-old pharmacist, South Carolina. With her medical knowledge, she knew she needed emergent care. But the staff were reluctant to get her down. They didn't know where she was at, so they waited and waited. The industry standard or best practice is 15 minutes in a harness hanging on a zip line. If you're on there longer than that, the possibility of blood pooling in your legs and killing you as it rushes to your heart as it's released goes up. Lisa hung there for 45 minutes in emergent care need. At the bottom, they realized she was in cardiac arrest and the Utah Valley Hospital was 20 minutes away. Lisa died on that fateful day on the way to the hospital. Standards were violated. The inspector who came in a month before should have noticed that tree with the red or orange ribbon and had it removed, but that was missed. Staff did not shut down like they would during ski season. That was missed. And rescue training. They didn't practice it enough. So as I look at these 150 accidents that I've investigated, there are common occurrences, and common occurrences that are going unresolved. Braking-related accidents are number one. And if you weigh more than 150 pounds and you're riding a zip line, your odds of injury now quadrupled. Because if you know anything about zip lines, they don't have expansion joints like bridges. And so as the temperatures rise and fall, the cable goes up and down. Cold temperatures, fast cables. Keep that in mind. This year at the International Association of Amusement Park Rides and Attractions, was my second year. I went to the legal roundtable. Here we had Disney, Six Flags, Universal, all the big ones, 40 some odd defense attorneys. And they were telling us kind of the state of what's going on in the industry. One thing that they caught my eye was Florida now has a 2-year statute of limitations for accidents. Now I get it. There are a lot of bloodsuckers out there willing to do anything, fall down, but I look for them too. But it's the ones that are unsuspecting, the ones that did not realize on the zip line that they needed to do a running stop while they were spinning. The other thing that caught my eye near the end, before I spoke up when questions were available, was the fact that they were complaining. All these attorneys were complaining that third-party backers were coming in and helping these junior partner, brand new personal injury attorneys, and they were winning. In fact, hedge funds who usually bet against things to win, were betting against the insurance company because they know they weren't winning very often. In fact, I do defense cases, and sometimes the defense case goes like this. Well, I inspected your zip line, and about the only thing you got going for you is the attenuation material, or the bark that was underneath the zip line when the girl fell, because that's about 6 inches, which is required. Everything else, the speed of the zip line, the safeties, the connections, you're going to lose. Insurance companies pay me to help stop the bleeding because they're losing. Lloyd's of London no longer insures zip lines, and they stopped in 2021. The ACCT has also created a problem. In 2022, June 10th, my birthday of all places or times, they sent out this letter, publication. They were trying to explain and correlate and compare zip lines with automobiles. Well, the degrees of freedom on a pendulum swinging zip line versus somebody seated in a car don't even compare. And cars have emergency brakes on every one, at least until maybe some of the older ones. The problem is they said 6 miles per hour, and miles per hour is a 2-component formula: momentum, mass of the energy, and the velocity. So the heavier you are, like I said earlier, if you're 150 pounds or greater, especially on a cold day, your risks are 3 times greater. And if you're light, if you're under that 100 pounds, you're putting your children on there, they're high risk. I am responsible. ASTM has stepped up. Take a picture of this F24 group because they have over 20 standards for the industry in amusement rides, F24. They've got roller coasters, go-karts, zip lines, trampoline courts, and it continues. ASTM has been around for 125 years. So the operator, you're going to ask these questions. Are you rescue trained or incident trained? If they're not, who's going to help you if you get injured? Then you ask, who did the right pre-use check today? If they don't know that, you may want to walk away. And then the final question, what is your right standard? If they have been trained, they will know the standards, at least properly. That's what I do. I train, but now most of the things I'm doing is I'm investigating. I am responsible, and I'm just getting started. Let's make the industry safer. Thank you.